Okay, so have you ever woken up after what felt like, a full night's sleep, 8 hours maybe, but you immediately feel tired? Not really physically tired, but there's just this low hum of overwhelm, like a weight on your shoulders even before your feet hit the floor. It's a familiar feeling, right? Okay, let's unpack this a bit. What if that feeling, that persistent tiredness, isn't really about how much you slept? What if it's about something else entirely, something you're carrying?
That's exactly where our source material kicks off this deep dive. It challenges that basic assumption head on.
Hmm.
It puts forward this idea pretty directly, actually. Maybe it's not a lack of sleep. Maybe it's a lack of clarity. And what's really interesting is how it talks about what we often call mental load. You know, that invisible weight of all the things we're trying to track or worrying about or just trying to remember. When those things, those objectives aren't clear, even tiny tasks can feel incredibly heavy, like you're trying to push through, I don't know, thick fog or something.
Oh, that makes so much sense because usually we just think, okay, gotta push harder, right? Or maybe I need more sleep or more coffee.
Mm.
But what if the answer is simpler? Maybe even a bit counterintuitive. And this is where it gets really interesting. The sources we're looking at offer this a surprisingly simple three-step ritual, like a
Yeah.
reset ritual designed specifically to cut through that mental fog and help you, offload some of that invisible weight.
Yeah, and that's really the focus of this deep dive, understanding that feeling, that sense of being perpetually heavy or tired, because things just aren't clear. Our mission here is to explore how this really clear, actionable approach, the one laid out in the sources, can genuinely bring some relief, some freedom, helping you, as the sources put it, build smarter instead of just getting caught in that trap of feeling like you have to constantly do more.
Okay, so let's pull back the curtain then. Let's look at the simple ritual and the kind of surprising philosophy behind it. So, the first step in this powerful reset ritual, you can literally do it in 60 seconds, maybe less. Just write down one win from yesterday. Not the whole list, not everything you did right, just one positive thing. Big or small, doesn't matter.
Right. And it might seem, well, almost too simple, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
But the psychological effect is actually pretty profound. Our brains, they're kind of wired to spot problems, right? Things left undone. It's a survival thing. But the sources really highlight that actively remembering a win, even something basic like, oh, I finally replied to that email I was avoiding, it immediately shifts your brain's focus. It's about acknowledging momentum, acknowledging progress.
Yeah.
And that creates this powerful positive feedback loop. It directly counters that, that Zeigarnik effect where unfinished tasks just nag at your subconscious.
Oh, I've definitely felt that. It's like giving yourself permission to feel good for a second. Like, oh yeah, I actually did accomplish something yesterday. Okay. Then step two. You write down one thing that truly matters today. Again, just one. This isn't your massive, sprawling to-do list. It's about picking the single most impactful item. But I mean, how do you even start choosing just one thing when everything feels urgent?
And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? That's where the clarity part really comes in. The sources emphasize, look, this isn't about pretending everything else doesn't exist. It's a deliberate act, prioritization. It forces you to cut through all the noise, all the stuff that could be done, and identify what really needs to be done, what moves the needle. It tackles decision fatigue right away. Because by committing to just one thing, you're not splitting your focus, your mental energy, across 10 different priorities, which is incredibly draining, as we know. It allows for that focused, impactful effort. It kind of aligns with that whole deep work idea.
Okay, focus on the one big rock first. Makes sense. And then finally, step three. And this one, I find this one incredibly freeing, actually. Cross off one thing. One thing you can either automate, delegate, or just drop. Let go of. This is about actively reducing your load, not just shuffling it around.
Exactly. And this step really brings up a fundamental question, doesn't it? Why are we carrying things that maybe don't need to be carried by us specifically? Or maybe, just maybe, shouldn't be carried at all. The sources are very clear on this point. You're not falling behind. You're just carrying too much. This isn't about being lazy or avoiding work. It's about smart cognitive offloading. You're making a conscious choice to free up that mental bandwidth. It's actively putting into practice that philosophy of let your systems hold the weight, rather than trying to personally juggle everything. Imagine the mental space that opens up when you truly let go of a task instead of just kicking it down the road again.
Yeah, that phrase, caring too much, that really hits home, especially when the source links it to this other idea. If you're not speaking it, you're storing it, and that gets heavy. It's like you need to get it out of your head, right?
Yeah.
Externalize all that mental clutter.
Precisely. The core insight here is that your brain, well, it wasn't really designed to be a long-term storage unit for every half-baked idea, every pending task, every unresolved worry. That's why the sources push so hard for letting your systems do the heavy lifting, whether that system is a simple notebook, a fancy digital tool, or just a clear agreement you made with a colleague. Doesn't really matter what it is. And by turning these steps into regular habits, you start to actually let your habits create the freedom. It's a really powerful shift, moving from this mindset of just frantic doing all the time to one of intentional building.
Okay, so let's try and distill the main message from this deep dive then. That feeling, that constant sense of being overwhelmed, it often comes from just carrying too much mental stuff rather than actually not doing enough. It's that lack of clarity, that fog we mentioned, that really weighs us down. And this simple three-step reset ritual, it offers a really potent way to get back some focus, some energy. So step one, write down one win from yesterday. Step two, choose just one thing that truly matters today. And step three, deliberately cross off one thing, automate it, delegate it, or just drop it. And remember that line, that powerful line from our sources. You're not falling behind, you're just carrying too much.
And if we zoom out, connect this to the bigger picture, what the sources are really offering is a kind of blueprint for living lighter, mentally speaking. They really hammer home that mantra. If you're not speaking it, you're storing it, and that gets heavy. The whole point is to release that mental burden, not by grinding harder or piling on more tasks, no, but by consciously, deliberately offloading things onto systems and embedding them into habits. It's about designing your days, maybe even your life, so you're not constantly fighting against this invisible mental current, but actually flowing with clear intentions.
So, what does all this mean for you listening right now? It means fundamentally, you probably don't need to do more. You need to build smarter. You need to define what matters and shed what doesn't, or what someone else could handle, or what a system could handle. And here's that really inspiring thought our sources leave us with. It's a perfect takeaway for you right now. You're already winning because you showed up. Now go move one thing forward today. Just one.
Which, thinking about it, raises a really important final question for you to consider, maybe mull over today. If we really truly embrace this idea of offloading our mental weight onto clear systems, onto intentional habits, we move beyond just trying to constantly do more. What new possibilities could open up? What new forms of energy, what new levels of focus could we potentially unlock for ourselves every single day?